on, I'm going to go ahead and start doing more so comments on and reactions to us as men having conversations. You know what I'm saying? We talk so many times in these spaces that there's far too many women that don't really listen to what brothers have to say, but swearing down they know what we need to do. But you're not listening to the issues that we're having with each other or we're having with you, so we can move forward amicably. Yeah, I like how your boy dropped that word. That's right. So this is one of those situations. I'm sorry to call it, but simps help women's bad behavior continue. And no disrespect to the brother Beans, who is one of the guys I'm gonna cover on one of his other videos. He be saying some simp stuff too. But on this one, you got Will versus Mr. Fantastic and E Black. They're gonna say some real simplest things and just act like they don't get where Mr. Fantastic is coming from. So let's go ahead and get into it. But once again, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. All right, let's get it.
I'll go back to the original terminology of what I'm sorry, not terminology. I'll go back to what an actual incel is. An incel is a person or a man that he is not selected by a specific archetype of woman that he wants. Even though other women may want him, he's not specifically selected by this woman. To kind of flow.
All right, first and foremost, he brutalized what an incel actually is. An incel is somebody who's involuntary celibate. That means they think they have no options, right? Now he's saying that there are women that want them. I've seen guys that people may think are incels and get women that are just like them. Like if you go to a game store, you see the geeks and the nerds, but then some of them actually have a girlfriend. They'll be geekish and nerdy. So those are not necessarily incels. They might just be socially awkward. But an incel is somebody who has no options. Like they think they have no options. Now the reason why I say think is because society pushes on incels. This ain't about incels, but I'm just speaking on it real quick. Society pushes to men so much that it is not dignified or honorable for a man to go get a triple X worker, you know what I'm saying, a streetwalker, to fulfill his needs. A lot of guys out there don't really care. But a lot of these incel guys are trying to pay attention to getting girlfriends. Versus like, well, let me go get my rocks off real quick. So that's not an issue. And then I can worry about a girlfriend. Crazy as it sounds, but incels don't think about doing that. Just saying real quick. So he's wrong about what an incel is.
Flow it into this particular conversation because we're not. I'm using E Black's example about Hillary because we're not selected by Hillary's standards of what it is that she wants. We're not accepted for who we are. Why are we so worried about who it is that she wants instead of bettering ourselves so that we can go find the person that we want? You on mute. You double.
That's a great question, Will. So the thing is, Hillary is all black women. That's the problem, right? And we know
Hillary is not all black women.
Yes. Hold on, yes, brother, walk with me. I didn't cut you off, so let me finish.
Okay, go ahead, my bad.
So Hillary represents the ideology of all black women. Ain't, can't, don't, won't, brother. That's my theory. Okay, no matter the black woman, whether she's Oprah or whether she's the project chick in the motherfucking, with 5 baby daddies. Okay, she gets to come to the court and not what like the court of opinion or like the public court, right? And say, I want a man that's this, and this. 66666, right? All the sixes, right? And no one dares tell her, even when she's the lowest of the low, that she does not deserve that man that's 66666. The problem is, again, now all black men are never good enough for any black woman. And she's never held accountable whether if the relationship is unsuccessful, it had to be the man. Y'all tell her, well, every nigga that gets divorced is just some bitter ass nigga that hates women and that can't be good. He could control his bitch.
And real quick, when he says Hillary Banks is all black women, meaning that no matter what status the woman is on in this country, she can say whatever she want to say and thinks that she deserves any type of guy, and she's not even on that level. Meaning, like, you have a chick that, no disrespect, that a lot of people do not think looks better than Beyonce or even close to Beyonce, would still say that she should be able to have her Jay-Z, like an actual billionaire or something. Like we've seen it dozens of times when you look at Kevin Samuel's show, where you'll see a chick come on and we know she average, but think she deserved the rawest dude in the land that got a lot of money, look great, and every other woman wants him, even though she's not in shape, but she wants this guy that's in shape. She comes from impoverished background, but thinks she deserves a guy that comes from a rich family. Y'all know the delusion. I ain't got to keep spelling that for y'all. Y'all brothers know.
And niggas say it and women say it too. What I'm trying to tell y'all, man, is again, black men have not learned how to be for black men. And I'm not saying that derogatorily. I'm just saying we're in the process of learning this as to where, no, man, it's that bitch. Now, am I saying 100% of the time? No. But the stats and the numbers say, again, even when you talk about having kids, right, it's not both of their faults. Black women have 1 million more children than black men. I'm going to say this again. Black women have 1 million more children than black men.
What?
And this is where we get to the creme de la creme. This is where Will is about to really simp out. Let's get it.
You think you didn't know that?
You say that it's not both of their faults that the kid is being born?
Brother, I'm going to say this to you again.
How the hell is it not both of their fault?
Brother, because the minority of black men have children, and I'm going to say this to you again, man. Think about this just mathematically. I'm not trolling you. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm not being facetious. Black women have 1 million more children than black men.
No, that's not what I'm questioning. I'm questioning the concept of making a baby as a man and a woman, right? So how
Okay,
so not the fault?
He's not grabbing it, Mr. Fantastic. It should never be. The thing is that it should.
All right, so Mr. Fantastic is trying to get Will to understand the level of accountability is off. And Will is trying to say, even though Mr. Fantastic, and y'all can look this up for y'all who don't know. So he's bringing up the fact or the stats of, this is off CDC and all of that you can look this stuff up, where the women have way more kids than the men have. And now he's getting to the point of talking about accountability, where it's like, how do you blame this group for what that group does when that group does it more than the other group does?
Never be women having more children than men, first and foremost. But then they're having more children than men, and it's astronomically large, a very large amount of them that's doing it. It's crazy when you do the math. When you actually do the actual math, you be like, wait, what the fuck? It's not supposed to be that.
But here's the thing. The women wouldn't be having these kids without the men, right?
But you're trying to make it a 50-50 thing when it's not a 50-50 situation. Your math ain't.
Last time I think it takes for sperm to encounter an egg to make a baby. The only way the sperm
Will, you're right.
No,
listen,
we get that part.
Will, you're right. But listen to me, Will, listen, brother. I don't know if you know the stats. You don't know the stats. You're just not considering that.
I don't care about the stats. I think that's the biggest.
You can't say, well, Will, you.
See, and that's another problem when we talk about being men. If you don't care about the stats as a man, bro, I don't know what to say about you. I mean, I know there's situations where real life matters and wisdom, but when you're having a conversation with brothers who are logical and sensical, men are, it's a problem if you don't care about it. That's just like people can't have I may say the brother wrong, the scientist Tyson Neil deGrasse. People can't have a conversation with him because he cares about the facts. Scientists care about the facts. Economists care about the facts. You can't have a conversation with a Dr. Claude Anderson if you don't want to talk about the numbers and the facts. And this is where we're messing up in our community. So when you hear a dude say that and you do care about it, and you're thoughtful of that man the person you want to have a conversation with.
You can't say you don't care about the stats, brother, because then you're gonna have a genuine conversation. You're being disingenuous from Jake. We can never get anywhere if you say you don't care about the stats. There's not a 50-50 split of children being had by equal number of children being had by black men and black women. That's why I keep emphasizing to you that black women have 1 million more children than black men. Okay, 62% of black women have kids. Okay, of that 62% of black women that have kids, 70% of them are had out of wedlock outside of a marriage. And then of those that have kids, 60% of them have them by 2 men or more. Two or more men. Hold on, wait, Will, hear me out. 2 or more men. So what does that tell you,
But it
Will?
took for those men to fuck them, though. It took for those men to fuck them.
Will, I agree.
Okay, so then
Will,
I got we get we get to the
resonating though. It's not resonating, Mr. Fantastic. What you're saying.
Now on this part, Hemp is going to give a great analogy. But once again, the problem is Will is doing that simp shit that we've seen for years, decades, my whole life growing up. Oh, well, it takes for the man and the woman to go ahead and do X, Y, and Z. And that's why, they both responsible. Nah. That's a sad thing because we already know if a dude can't take care of his responsibilities, he can get put on child support and go to jail. If a chick can't take care of her responsibilities, it's possible 50-50 chance. It's possible for her, but for as a man and woman, it's like 70-30. 70% likely in her situation, she gonna get housing, food stamps, and all that. And I get it because she got the kids, but don't sit there and tell me that that's fair. That instead of both people being helped, that's having problems taking care of their kids, they picking and choosing one side. That is not fair. So you can't use that 50-50 analogy. It's bullshit.
Well,
it's not resonating because the thing is you're taking the responsibility off of the man.
He's just saying this. He's simply saying that the fact that 1 million more black women have kids than black men, right? They're having kids by multiple men and not being married, right? So the accountability in terms of being irresponsible will lean on them more, right? He's saying, yes, he knows it takes two to take a baby, but the irresponsibility is going to weigh differently if you're having kids out of wedlock like two different men.
And
although I can go ahead
at 14% higher again, brother. What we trying to tell
you? Although I get that, I put responsibility back. There's no man out here mistakenly having babies. Tell me that it happens.
Will, I agree with you.
Okay, so there's no man out here that's mistakenly having babies. There's a woman having
literally.
But see, that's another problem. There's no women out here mistakenly having babies, but a lot of us will simp for him and be acting like, well, it's the man's fault because if he would have worn a condom, he all that. No. Y'all take away the 50-50 accountability. You know what I'm saying? But then once you get to a point where the accountability starts looking like a Libra scale, where it starts going more and more and more and more to the woman, then we try to balance it out by saying this is the man. But if you look at reality in life, that shit is not helping us at all.
A woman having 4 kids by 2 different men. Let's just say, let's say 3. A woman having 4 kids by 3 different men, they're just as fault as she is. What are you talking about?
I'm not, and Will, I'm agreeing with you. But you know what, though? Those 3 men are still the minority. They're not 51%, brother. The minority of black men have kids. So even if let's say 100% of black men that did have kids,
it's too long-winded, Mr. Fantastic, because he getting lost in a lot of the.
Yeah, I don't know why he getting lost. It's just simple math.
Well, do you? What about this? Not saying you're getting lost in the point, but when he articulates his point, he gives a lot of different examples. So, 51% of black men don't have kids. 62% of black women do have kids. So if you do 62 minus 49, you see the separation even in percentages.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah, I don't want y'all to miss that. 62 versus 49. 62% of women having kids, 49% of men having kids. That's kind of a steep leap. You feel what I'm saying? So yeah, I want y'all to be mindful of that. And Hamp's gonna give a great example.
Which basically means that one man is probably having multiple children.
Yeah,
and I get that. My thing is, I'm calling to question the basis of the basis of the ideology behind it. So you mean to tell me that just because women are having more babies than black women are having more babies than black men, that it's more their fault than it is our fault?
Well, before you guys jump in, when you're saying fault, what's the fault? What do you mean by fault?
He said it's the responsibility. It lands on the responsibility of the woman that's having these kids, these children.
It does.
So you're saying, but what do you mean by fault, though? You use the word fault. So what do you mean? What
I
is
use the
the
word
fault?
fault because I'm trying to understand how is it that if these black women, are we just talking about the black community? Are we just talking? Are we staying within the black community? Or are we going all?
Yeah, black women.
So you're
Black women.
saying these kids being born out of wedlock. You're saying that Mr. Fantastic's saying it's largely women's fault.
That's what it sounds to me like he's saying.
Okay, now
That's
let me ask you a
exactly what I'm
question.
saying.
Let me ask you a question. If a woman, or let's say if a man divorces from 6 different women, he's the common denominator. Who can you assume is at fault?
He is.
So now these women are having kids out of wedlock irresponsibly by multiple men. If it's the same but if it's the same woman with multiple men, can you use the same assumptive reasoning that you use for the men with the man with 6 divorces?
Thank you for breaking that down, but I still put the responsibility back on the man for choosing those 6 different women.
I know, but you switched the logic though, right? Because the logic would be he's the common denominator, right? So it's his fault. So if she's the common denominator, it would be her fault, right? Because he had babies by multiple men. So by definition of being a common denominator, she would also it would be her fault. Same logic.
Same logic, and I get that, but is that the reality of what's happening?
Yes, she's having the babies by multiple men. So just
Hey,
based
just
based on outside looking in, you don't have details. You just know that she has kids by more than one man. She's the common denominator. So using that same logic, it would be her.
So I'm going to then go like I've always said. I put the responsibility back on men. I take women out the equation when it comes to how men are building themselves up. The only way that.
All right, so that's where I'm going to end this video and just get my final thoughts. Okay, see, that's the issue that we are having in society. There's no real balance. We have females that will be crying and complaining that it's not fair for them, but it's bullshit, because if you look at who has more privileges and who has more rights, they do. So to still complain that it's not enough this, not enough that, when you have the freedom to do whatever the hell you damn near want to, as long as it's not breaking the law, you can't make that weak ass argument. Dude like Will, no disrespect to the brother, he seemed like okay brother, but that simp mentality that he has is what is hurting our black community overall, because there's no real accountability on both sides. I remember when I was growing up, and I'm coming from the last of a dying breed, where there was some kind of accountability for both sides that was fair and balanced. So that way, when something is going wrong and messing with the community, that person had to be called to task. So if you had dudes in the community going around messing up the community, causing issues, yeah, we step to that dude as a man. Now, on the flip side with women, if there was a woman going around being reckless, doing stupid stuff, the women held that woman accountable. But now that women are drawing back and being more selfish and like not really caring about the community like that, that's where we are nowadays. So it makes it harder for guys to hold other guys accountable. Real quick analogy. If you have 100 guys and 100 women, and out of them 100 guys, only 20 of those guys are very attractive to 80 of those women. Now, the other 80 guys are trying to do what they need to do, you know what I'm saying, worrying more about relationships and marriage and working hard, trying to build something. But if you have these other 80 women that are being, not caring and making it easy for the 20 guys to be degenerates, have sex, pass around STDs and impregnate them, then what do you think you're going to have? It's not going to matter what the other 80 guys doing if the other 80 women are allowing the 20 guys to do whatever they want to do. This is where it's an issue at. They keep trying to hold us all accountable for what a smaller percentage of men does. You got to think, if it's over women over 60% have kids, while only 40-something% of men have kids. How do you still try to blame the men? You can't in totality blame the men. And I give you this other example. When women say they need to call us to task, right, fellas, y'all need to go grab the community back. Some of the biggest issues that we're having in the community is broken families, right? But not only that, if you have young men out here, like they always call us out for this. You got the young men out there in the streets running with gangs and blocks, selling drugs and doing all kinds of crazy stuff, right? Do you honestly think that we can actually go out there and get a lot of these cats that's doing wild shit? You think we can actually put them in check without any type of civil war? This is what we have to really seriously think about. You can't tell us we're gonna go out there just threatening with our presence and then they know better. No, that means that we got to be able to back that shit up. And a lot of women are not gonna go for me knocking out your child or me knocking out your baby daddy to get this block cleaned up and safer. So for those females that move like that, that's where the accountability has to go. I'm just saying, until we get it fair and balanced, it don't mean shit. So brothers like Will, no disrespect, brother, but you is a simp. And E-Block a simp too. And I'm so sorry, but when it comes to certain things, like hell, the shit said, put them in the bathroom, get them out of here. This your boy JTL, aka Big Op. Another episode from Op from the North 18. Make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe. If this is your first time checking us out, we're gonna get back to some real man shit. Don't even worry about it. I'll let you boy. Chip.